The shift knob is doing a little disco dance. I'll take a seat here, figure out, oh, no, that's very wet. The seats, oh my God, it's wet. Why did I do that? Ah, God, that was terrible. Hey, what's going on YouTube, and welcome back to another video. Now today, we're doing another episode of Auction Car Hunting, the video series where I go out to the local auction yards and show you guys what I find. You guys will have to let me know down in the comments down below what type of cars and trucks you want to see on the channel. And we're gonna be doing a lot of exploring today. Before we get into the video, I did want to give you guys one quick announcement, and that's my YouTube memberships page. Now, if you guys have been enjoying the car content, this is a great way to support the channel, and it also gives you exclusive access to everything in advance, as well as me prioritizing answering your guys' comments, because you guys at the end of the day are the reason why any of this stuff exists. So I'll link that down below. But let's not waste any time on this one, because I mean, I'm looking at it right now and this thing is super awesome. My God, this is so great. This is a Toyota MR2. Now, I haven't actually hopped in the driver's seat, but I did notice that the window is down. I don't know why that is, but I'm almost certain that a lot of people have looked at this one. It's got some modifications done to it for sure. And I think the biggest thing is this louver replacement in the rear, which is very interesting, but it leads to a window for this engine that's hiding behind all this. So we'll definitely have to pop this open to take a peek at what this is. This was definitely somebody's project. I mean, this is not a stock car by any means, but a lot of goodies just right off the bat. The first thing you're gonna see is the Willwood brake upgrade in the rear. It also looks like it has, I don't know if this is maybe a hydro or just like an aftermarket e-brake. And then of course the Enkei RFP1's a very classic lightweight wheel that a lot of people run, but I do see that they may have been running into some rubbing issues, because right here, you can see how it's kind of gnawing away at the tire like that. And it's because of this lip. So these fenders definitely need to be rolled, because this is a very aggressive setup. It looks great, don't get me wrong. Long term, you'd have to do something about that. And on camera, it probably looks like this car is white. When you get up close, you can see that it was actually originally yellow. I don't know, maybe people don't like the color yellow, but I always thought the yellow MR2s are really sweet. Granted, these are getting harder and harder to find. Anything from the late 80s to early 90s now is considered vintage. So if you're gonna take on one of these cars, usually they're rusty, crusty, have a lot of issues, and maybe this one is good, but I do see some tastefully clapped innovations with these zip ties at the bottom over here, which is always nice to see. That's kind of like a very typical thing if you're stitching something up after taking it to the track. Again, I just don't know what the integrity of everything is. I see that the turn signal's about to fall apart, but it does have these very nice carbon fiber. And I think this is real carbon fiber. This is not the knockoff sticker stuff for the pop-up headlights, which is also something that's kind of a lost art. Not too many cars came with the pop-up headlights because of the safety regulations that came in. Overall, body-wise, not any crazy body damage or dents on it. The biggest dent, honestly, is just gonna be on the dual tip exhaust. I don't know what happened here. Maybe they hit something and it bent this all out of shape. And this looks like some really nice piping. Granted, this outlet's maybe like 4 or 5 inches in diameter. It's absolutely massive. Let's take a peek on the inside here real quick. And it is a manual transmission, which is a huge plus, but I don't know if this is a turbo. Oh, I think it is a turbo. I see it on the gauge cluster, actually. You see that right there in the middle, this? It's almost like a dummy gauge for the boost. I don't know if it's gonna be as accurate as a digital gauge. Granted, this is very vintage stuff, but again, 212,000 miles, but it smells very mildewy. And I think it's because somebody, like when I came up to this was all just pulled back. This is to actually make sure that this is all protected from the elements. And it's been pouring rain for the past couple days, and you know, luckily today it's very nice, but in this case, it's not doing this car any justice. So I'll take a seat here, figure out, oh, no, that's very wet. Oh God, it's very wet. But I'm just gonna go through the gears. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The seats, oh my God, it's wet. Why did I do that? Ah, God, that was terrible. Shifter feels like a bolt action rifle. I feel like maybe the bushings have been upgraded or something. I just really sat in this thing. Look, there's water pooling in it. Oh my goodness. I see the carpet too, it's very wet. So what is the big mystery now with this engine? What is in this thing? I see very shiny exhaust manifolds. manifold. So there's got to be something good, right? Oh, this just comes up like that? Well, that's not very safe. Okay, well, oh, I do see upgrades now. This looks very nice. Is this the original engine? Pretty sure it is. It looks like they upgraded some of the intercooler piping. I see an aftermarket turbo of some sort, and it's interesting just how they shoehorn everything in here. Mid-engine cars are just interesting to me in general. I don't know if this would be my first choice, but a lot of people do K-Series swaps in these, and I feel like I've been learning so much about the K-Series, that's the first thing that comes to my mind. If you want it to be more period correct, doing the original engine and transmission some justice is definitely gonna be the way to go. I do see, again, somebody was in here messing with it. They upgraded a lot of things. I see some of the radiator piping has been upgraded. I think that's a pretty common issue on these. Overall, I mean, it's an MR2, but this is not a very clean one. I mean, I thought it was yellow and now I see it's red. So what color was this thing? This is one of these project cars that's just been through so many different owners and iterations. So that makes me a little concerned as well. And the fact that I didn't even have to prop open the, is this the hood, trunk, whatever louver thingamabobber this is? It was just like, it just was rested on top. So yeah, from a driving perspective, does it make sense? Is there a way to lock this in? I don't know. It is what it is. Nice looking car. We can also check out the frunk, especially like a really nice example. Again, it's gonna be pretty tough. I think this is gonna be more of either a track day hero car, somebody wanting to take this on to finish it up. I don't know if this would be the most reliable example to find. I mean, I'm finding wood screws. You don't even put these on cars. Why is there random wood screws laying around all over? I think this is gonna be a pass for me, but very cool cars, mid-engined, rear-wheel drive. I mean, what else do you want, man? The goodies on it make it worth it. What do you guys think? Is this thing worth buying or what? But anyways, let's move on. And just 2 cars behind that MR2, I see this 370Z. Now what's interesting with these Zs is that they're kind of slowly transitioning into drift cars. Now for a very long time, the Nissan 240SX was the one that everybody used because it was the cheap, fun drift car. But now they are very old, hard to find. They've all been beat into the ground. So people started slowly trickling over to the 350Zs, and now that is kind of the budget drift car if you want to stay with the Nissan. But the 370s are now kind of going into the depreciation curve, and you can find some of these actually for a pretty decent price. Now, it's not going to be the $500 project cars of, 6-7 years ago. There's a lot of value in terms of just like out-of-the-box performance, so you don't have to do too much with it. But this one was actually in a rear-end collision, as you can see back here. So maybe somebody texting and driving and hit them in the back. It's actually really good news to see all of the panels taken off because we can see from a structural rigidity standpoint how it looks. Now, when we get up closer and look at this in further detail, you can see that they took off everything. I don't know if maybe there was some sort of aftermarket spoiler on top, but they removed all this. The rear fascia, the rear bumper, the lights, it's all gone. And now we can see what happened here. But when I look at this, you see how there's no dents or anything like that? It looks very straight. Crash beam over here, it's also the same thing. This kink is actually just part of the body design. So this all goes in the right place. Usually you can see right here, this is what they call the crumple zones. And on these ones, man, it's so small. This will usually absorb the impact first, and this is what you replace in the instance of like a very low speed, mild fender bender as they call it. But with this one, it did not even disturb the rear quarter panels. So I'm assuming that this was taken to a body shop after it got in the accident. They probably did an appraisal with the insurance and they deemed it a total loss. So this car is technically a total loss. They totaled it out, and that's why it's here at the auction. I will say, granted, I'm looking at everything, and usually when I'm looking at this stuff too, I'm looking for panel gaps. So I see that the panel gap here hasn't been, majorly disturbed. Sometimes when a car gets hit in the back, this will be all out of whack, and the rear quarter panels will be warped. But this one, it almost looks like if you just put new panels on it and got it painted, it would be a really wonderful, nice little car. So I see that they upgraded the brake calipers. What are these? What brand is this? Can anybody let me know in the comments? I've never seen those before. I don't think those are factory though. I've never come across any of these with that. We'll take a peek on the inside and all right, it's a manual. Even better, this car even has you know, like the dealership film that they put over, it's like the protective cover, it's still on here. This must have been like a dealership car and then they got in the accident. All the panels are back here. It has Nismo on it. Is this a Nismo? Wait a minute, is this a Nismo? Or was that like a factory option add-on? I really thought this was like a base model, but maybe this is a lot nicer than I thought it was. You can see all the insulation, the fender linings is all over the place. I'll still hop in here real quick and we'll take a peek at what's going on. So, oh wow, this car sits very low. The shift knob is doing a little disco dance, but that's okay. Oh, okay. I guess somebody ruined the threads on that. Transmission still feels excellent. I don't think this one's gonna fire up, but there is a key. So I guess we'll see if there's any juice in it. Nope, doesn't look like it. So this is a Nismo. This is a Nismo 370Z. Okay, well, that adds a lot more value. Okay, I'm into that. I thought these had like a lot more aero on the outside though. But I mean, it says Nismo all over the place on this one. Very interesting. Looks like they upgraded the headlights too. It's got these like cool color matched xenon. Yes, Nismo. More Nismo on it. Yeah, wow, I learned something today. Now, granted, I do see it's a little wet on the front. I don't know if that's maybe the timing cover is leaking a little bit, but not the end of the world. I think there's also another vanity cover that goes below the strut brace that's going across. But again, it's tight. And I think they actually revised this, but on some of the older VQs, they have the worst dipsticks in the world. I had a G35 and trying to figure out how much oil in that thing was like a huge task for whatever reason. I see it says 780 auto on the hood. Maybe that has some goodies or some sort of tuning company that worked on this. I like this one. I wish I had a jump box with me, but over here at the auctions, they don't let you do that. You have to go all the way back to the office and go ask for a jump, or maybe one of the drivers can come out. But granted, the fact that there's just so many cars today, I'm gonna have to pass on seeing if this thing will fire up. But just from everything that I've seen, I'm willing to bet this thing would just, right at the turn of a click, it would just fire right up. So I noticed in the comments of the last video that you guys were curious as to how I got into cars in the first place. So it actually started a really long time ago. I was maybe like 12 or 13 is when I first really started wrenching on cars, but my dad has actually been a lifelong mechanic and he's the one that got me into this mess. You know, I'm really grateful that I get to, you know, keep pursuing this stuff, but I got hooked at a very young age and I just never really stopped. I used to work on really old Hondas and I didn't have money at the time. And what I would do is I would find these hilariously cheap cars. Some of them were really disgusting. Some of them had horrible mechanical issues. And that was kind of my way of just getting experience and learning. So I don't have like a full certification or anything like that. But I think just through life experience, it's really opened a lot of doors for me in terms of what I'm currently doing now. All the hardships and all the things that were difficult have brought me to this point, which I feel really grateful for. But at the same time, it's very hard to stop. And I think that's the thing with this is like, I'm in way too deep, man. I'm probably gonna be doing this for a very long time. You could take that as a good thing or a bad thing. I think with that, I did want to show you this Subaru that's right behind me. And man, to cap this one off, I found another Subaru. There's a lot of Subarus today. And there's not only just this one, there's another one right behind this Kia Soul. I don't know if you can see it in the corner over there, so we'll go check that one out as well. But this brought back a lot of fond memories for me because I actually owned a 2002 Subaru WRX just like this one for years. And I actually bought this from a Copart auction as well. I did a full restoration on it. I replaced the engine and I had it completely repainted and I loved the car. It was really a blast, but I decided to, you know, part ways with it as I'm doing the K series and the Biohazard Civic now, but still, there's a lot to like with these. Now, going after the 2002 to 2007 cars, I think this is the GD chassis. The only thing that's really wrong with these is the people that own these cars. And I learned firsthand when I was selling my car that I was getting a lot of people that were just erring on the side of degeneracy. And I even turned down a few people that wanted to buy the car just because I knew what was gonna happen to it. You know, you can kind of pick up on the vibe of people and what their intentions are. And I think the thing is, mostly with these is the eagerness that they have, especially when you're driving them. it's just constantly egging you on, and it's making all these like visceral boosting noises and things of that sort. And I even see that this one has the original Lamco boost gauge on it, which was actually like a factory option. You don't see a lot of these. And the interior is actually in really good shape, but the quality on the interior on these cars, even brand new from the factory, was a little bit questionable. It just feels very cheap, but you're not buying this for the interior quality, really. You're buying this for the driving ergonomics. What I always loved about this, even with the factory Momo steering wheel, that everything just lands so right. And there's like this hominess that's hard to explain with like older Subarus, but it's just something that you have to go and experience firsthand, and I think you'll know what I'm talking about. The seats in these, my absolute favorite. Absolutely fantastic. And as I look at this one more, I see exactly what happened here. You see that? Stolen, theft recovery. Look, the flathead screwdriver's still right here in the passenger seat, which is very, very sad. And this happened to me too, man. Like I was telling you guys, my Impreza Battle Wagon also got stolen. These are popular cars and they're hot and people want to take them. So I did notice a little bit of rust in the rear quarter panels. Which is going to be pretty common. People like to drive these because they have the symmetrical all-wheel drive system, which we know to this day is very legendary, but it comes at a cost because the more you drive your car in the salt like this is going to be a clear sign that there's probably a lot more rust underneath. And trust me, you don't want to be working on a rusty car. It's not fun. A lot of bolts will start snapping off. Things will need to get replaced sooner, but it looks like it has an aftermarket exhaust, which is pretty nice. So I'm gonna see how many mods were done in terms of the engine. When you look at it, it's a very good looking car. I've always liked the wagons. People don't like the wagons over the sedans sometimes because these have what's called the narrow body. So if you go look at a sedan, it's gonna have like these flared out fenders and rear quarter panels. It's just like a very boxy flare on the sides, but on the wagons you didn't get that. But you see a lot of people, they'll swap that over. Anyways, I see that. We're gonna pop this open. Okay, I see it has a STI intercooler, very common swap. Literally just a plug and play mod that you can do. Parent turbo inlet, very nice. This just looks like some sort of cone filter with a K&N Typhoon intake that holds the mass airflow sensor. I do see coolant pooling up on the coolant reservoir. That actually is pretty common because these hose clamps here over time, they get pretty old, and I'm sure somebody did something about that. It has a Mishimoto intercooler hoses in the back, and then it's got some budget coilovers. It looks like this is an old set of max speeding rods. I don't know if those are comfortable or civilized by any means. I actually went with a spring strut combo on mine, and it made a tremendous difference just in terms of the overall comfort. Still, it's not bad, man. The black housing headlights, I think that's an upgrade with this one. Tires actually look really excellent. What tires are these? But anyways, I see that they are in good shape. What are the Vercels? Maybe I'm missing something here. I've never seen the Vercels. Is that the Linglongs? I don't know. Somebody's gonna have to let me know. Again, rear quarters rotting out. If you look underneath, you get this on a lift. It's not gonna be very pretty. Window smashed probably when it got stolen. This is just your very typical theft recovery. Happens a lot more than you think. Very sad to see. Very good looking car. Let's go look at the other one that we have over here. I mean, you could do a 2-for-1. You could buy this one and you can fix that one, or you do the vice versa. And this one was in a front end collision, but has some good bones. This is probably destined to be more of a parts car, if I'm being honest with you. But these look like the real deal. Are these the JDM headlights? Maybe not. Maybe those are some eBays. I thought that there were maybe some fancier ones, but that's okay. Still not bad. It has the upgraded little badge in the front. No front bumper, but they did do the sedan fender conversion, just like what I was talking about. So they converted this, and they put sedan fenders on it, and you see how it has like this flare to it? It actually adds a lot to just the aggressiveness of the front end. But this one is definitely in a lot worse shape than the one that we just looked at. This is rough. I mean, look at what they did to the rear quarter panel. This is horrendous. Oh my God, overspray everywhere. Wait, did this car get tagged? Why would somebody do this? This is just, yeah, this is just horrendous. Okay, so they did it on the trunk too, for whatever reason. So it's all over the place. I mean, this is quite a mixed bag for me. I don't know how to feel about this one. So I opened the door. They spray painted the inside. They spray painted the inside. Why? Why would you do that? And this one smells, this one smells really bad. This smells horrendous. Oh man, I'm good. Holy moly. I don't know what happened with this. Do I want to know? Probably not. But I think I'm gonna end the video there. Thank you so much guys for watching. Stay tuned for more. I actually just wrapped up a whole bunch of K-Series stuff, so I'm gonna continue to be putting that out. I have some more long form videos with that as well. But again, let me know what you guys wanna see on the channel. I've really been enjoying just doing, you know, what I wanna do, but if there's anything that I can provide you guys with in terms of like insight, maybe story times, or airplanes flying in the air, let's do it, man. Thanks, I'll see you later.